the Royal Daily Tea YouTube channel. Please be advised all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only, based 100% on my own opinion, my own theories, and my own research. All of my information can be found on the public domain and falls under the fair use guidelines. Please feel free to do your own research. Hello and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. First off, I am so grateful. You guys, we have over 5,000 subscribers here on the channel. Thank you guys so much. I really, truly appreciate your support. And welcome to the almost 500 new subscribers that we have onboarded for the month of January. I am just extremely tickled pink and humble and grateful to have you on my channel. So today we're going to talk about the 2-year anniversary of Megxit and why Megxit was a failure to launch the Sussexes into a world of success. So as we know, Megxit originally started on January 8th of 2020. Now they announced that they were stepping down as senior working royals on January 8th, of course, the day before Catherine's birthday, because that's how the Sussexes roll, always trying to steal the thunder of other senior royal family members. So when they announced they were stepping down as senior royals to seek privacy, happiness, and financial freedom, they did so under a 12-month review. So a lot of people, especially people who are new here, may not realize what Megxit actually is. When Harry and Meghan announced they were leaving the royal family, they kind of blindsided the royals. They announced it on their website and social media, which was under Sussex Royal at the time, before letting Her Majesty and the royal family know. There's an infamous photo of Kate crying in her car leaving the palace, which is around the time of her birthday. Can you imagine the stress that the senior family, royal members were under? They're being blindsided publicly. They just make this huge announcement that they're stepping down, but they intended to still support Her Majesty the Queen and the crown around the globe. So after that happened, remember that was the emergency meeting that was called to the palace where all the royals were called after the declaration of the Sussexes of them leaving the royal family as working members. So the Queen came up with a plan that they would have a 12-month review where the Sussexes would go off and step down as senior working royals. They would spend the next 12 months as quote-unquote private citizens seeking their happiness and financial freedom. And at the end of the 12 months, they would come back and review if Harry and Meghan were to come back as senior working royals. Well, we all know that did not happen. Now, of course, the very first year of Megxit was the year that the pandemic hit. The Sussexes moved to Montecito, and a few months later, the pandemic shut everything down, where we were forced to endure the year of the woke salad Zoom speeches of Harry and Meghan. It was a lot of woke salad speeches with not a lot of dressing, where Harry looked like he was a prisoner, constantly with a scowl or a very sad look on his face, with bad clothing and bad lighting. He literally looked like he was being held against his will in a dirty dungeon somewhere. I think at one point I was going to start a collection plate to get Harry a ring light. But nonetheless, the Sussexes started the first year of Megxit giving woke salad speeches to anyone who had a Zoom call. They were available to jump on any political bandwagon as humanitarians that we could possibly stomach. And to be honest with you, this is when people started to make fun of them for all of their woke salad speeches and literally for Harry's lighting. But we could forgive the woke salad speeches, even though it didn't have a lot of dressing or substance. They were just comical, but we could forgive that, right? that wasn't so bad. The beginning of 2021 is kind of where it started to go all wrong for the Sussexes. And when the Sussexes embarked on Megxit, they kind of went off with the Zoom speeches in California. They were not really seen out a lot in public, of course, because of the worldwide pandemic. We just had to endure them on Zoom. And then it was announced that they signed huge multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify, so it seemed like they were off to a roaring start. However, 2021, in my opinion, was the downfall of these Sussexes. We had them embroiled in this horrible, nasty lawsuit with the Associated Newspapers, who own the Daily Mail, where Meghan was suing them over the privacy rights of the letter that she wrote her daddy, and we all know what happened after that. So during this time, it was around the 12-month anniversary where the review of Megxit was coming up, and the Sussexes, because she was now pregnant with Lilibet and they were embroiled in a really nasty lawsuit, the Sussexes actually asked Her Majesty the Queen for an extension on the 12-month review of Megxit. They asked for a 6 to 9 month extension. However, that was denied. So a lot of people are not realizing it was actually denied. My question is, for two people who felt trapped and were miserable and mistreated by the royal family, why did they ask for an extension? In my opinion, Harry and Meghan were playing a game of chess with the royal family, and especially Her Majesty the Queen, because they personally believed that they were the stars of the royal family. They believed that Meghan was the unused asset that was not being elevated to the level of which she should have been used. They really thought she was the next people's princess, much like Princess Diana. They felt she was the most popular royal family member, and the other family members were jealous of Meghan. So when they stepped away from Megxit for a year, they thought they were going to prance into the royal family and be welcomed back and cherry pick all of the things they wanted to do and still go off and sign multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify. But Her Majesty always famously said, "You're either in or you're out. There's no half in and half out." And Harry and Meghan called her bluff. And as we said before, she checkmated their ass out of the mansion. So when Harry and Meghan were told that no, you are not coming back to be working senior royals, you are not going to get any more money or security, your son is not going to get a title, you have to pay back the $2.5 million for the Frogmore renovations, and Charles is going to write you a check for $5 million, and then he's cutting you off financially. Because again, you walked away to become financially independent, so we're giving it to you. And the cherry on the top of the cake was, Harry, you're losing your military patronages. Well, when Harry and Meghan found that out in January of 2021, they were pissed. And so when they went on the Oprah Winfrey interview, guys, they did it for revenge. 100% revenge. You can tell he was being very whiny, very pompous. They were throwing a temper tantrum on national television because his daddy wasn't paying his bills or returning his phone calls, and pretty much the royal family closed the door on them. But a lot of people don't realize that. And they went on the Oprah Winfrey interview and spun their tall tales of lies. Now there's a new rumor out there that they're now saying that Harry and Meghan were tricked by CBS to give this interview, and that they were under duress and they were in a very, very low point and they didn't know what they were doing. Well, if you actually watch the videotape, Oprah made it very clear to have Meghan on camera say, 1, you're here of your own free will. 2, you're not being paid. And 3, you don't know the questions ahead of time. And Meghan agreed to each and every one of those questions. And the part that really gets me is that Oprah Winfrey did not ask any questions in regards to race. Meghan voluntarily brought up that all on her own. That was the infamous, what? That Oprah Winfrey did, because she was shocked. Okay. Now, I will say I'm not a fan of Oprah, but I don't blame Oprah for that interview. Because Oprah, when she did that interview with the Sussexes, she was under the impression that she was having an interview with her friends, her neighbors, and that they were going to tell her the truth. She had no reason to believe these two grifters were going to lie and embellish and make up stories that never happened on national television. Now, Oprah has gone on record shortly after the interview and stated it was the best interview she ever did. However, she is now radio silent, and the interview has been removed from the CBS website and Oprah's website as well. So I personally believe that things have changed and that these two are probably no longer friends. I don't think Oprah talks with the Sussexes anymore, and it could be one of the reasons why they're actually leaving Montecito, but we'll get into that in another video. So after the infamous Oprah Winfrey interview, and of course the death of Prince Philip, where everyone watched the very cringe-worthy moment where Harry had to attend the funeral, and it was just so awkward to see him with the royal family. I think that was honestly the icing on the cake and the downfall of the Sussexes. So not only were they a laughing stock with their horrible Zoom messages for an entire year, the Oprah Winfrey interview is when people realized really how awful these two were, how they lied through their teeth on national television and threw his family under the bus. Because we all know the royal family has the never explain, never complain policy where they won't fight back. And so when Harry and Meghan went on Oprah, they knew 100% they would not be challenged. But that was the beginning of the end, in my opinion. Even though Harry and Meghan, of course, they launched the new Archewell Foundation in January of 2021 with the three branches: Archewell Foundation, Archewell Audio, and Archewell Productions, where they signed those multi-million-dollar deals of Netflix and Spotify. But of course, as of today, January of 2022, they have yet to produce anything for Netflix, and they have only produced one podcast for their Spotify deal, which was 13 months ago. So when I say they are a failure to launch, they are a failure to launch. Then we have the Archewell Foundation, which has only raised under $50,000 in 12 months of operation. Now, of course, anything for charity is awesome and wonderful, but when you're a royal prince and you have millionaires and billionaires in your cell phone and you can't raise more than $50,000 in 12 months for a charity, that's pretty bad. A 10-year-old boy who slept outside in a tent for 30 days, collected over $150,000 for a nonprofit organization supporting hospice. A 10-year-old boy tripled what they donated in a year. She spent over $30,000 on her wardrobe alone for her 4-day trip to New York City. So again, $50,000 is chump change to someone of their stature. They didn't even match their donations. They just said, oh, by the way, look at all the wonderful things we did. They even had to announce it on their holiday Christmas card, all the places of which they donated on our behalf. But they never told you the amounts because it was literally probably $10 a piece. So their whole Archewell Foundation audio and production has been a complete flop and has produced nothing. Then we have The Bench, the children's book that she wrote based off the poem that she wrote for her husband, Harry, which was a very sweet sentiment. I will say it was a very sweet sentiment. However, it was not a children's book. It was more for the parents. It fell flat with children. The colors were drab, and it is now in the 99-cent bin. So The Bench was a mediocre children's story that has not done well and is not selling. Between the Archewell Foundation, Archewell Audio, Archewell Productions, The Bench, These two have not produced anything worthwhile in 2 years since Megxit. The only thing they've created is a lot of animosity and proven to people over and over again that they have no integrity and cannot be trusted to tell the truth. The lawsuit with the Associated Press proved that she lied under oath in regards to colluding with the authors of Finding Freedom, and of course that she did in fact intend her letter that she wrote her daddy to be a public consumption. And of course the Oprah Winfrey interview had lie after lie, up to 13 inconsistencies. So after 2 years of Megxit, these two have been a failure to launch anything successful. What are your thoughts, guys? Do you think 2022 will be the year that they finally launch something that will be a success? Leave your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Please make sure to check me out on my other social media accounts. I am on TikTok, Getter, and Instagram, as well as the Royal Daily Tea website. If you would like to support the growth of my channel as I come out with a brand new merch line, you can buy me a cup of coffee, guys. The link is listed below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for stopping by the channel and have an awesome and amazing day. Bye, guys.